listening to Chris Talks Cars on Cartoon Channel. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Chris Talks Cars. My name is Chris Goodin, and once again, I'm joined by my good friend, a man who wants to flathead V8 swap your Coyote, Mr. Brandon Cole.
Oh man, I'm swapping something else again.
It's old. I get it that you like old school, but you know, to what point? To what point?
Well, you know, I just keep it old school.
Keeping it OS.
Yeah.
How you doing, buddy?
Oh, doing pretty good. Up yourself?
No, you know, it's hanging in there. Anything new on Project Roll Coal? If you spell it right, you're wrong.
If you spell it right, you're wrong. No, we're one thing a month is what I've been doing. So end of the month's coming up. 1st of June, I will be ordering some new parts. So stay tuned.
That's the controller you're going to get, right? The aftermarket tuner.
Yeah, we're going to do the radio this month and probably the Smarty programmer as well.
Okay, nice. All right. Well, big news in the truck world, as I'm sure everybody that cares saw, the 2022 Ford Lightning has been announced, and we have some official confirmed details. Mm-hmm. And I don't like, I've said it before, I don't like that they're calling it a Lightning when it's not an SVT, but it's the first truck. It's the first step. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be, you know, 1 million miles and 10 minutes to recharge with 10 times the towing capacity and twice the efficiency. Like, it's the first to market official truck. Like, Tesla's been announced, but I don't know that any production models have been delivered. And I'd say Ford's probably more likely to deliver the Lightning on time than Tesla is the Cybertruck, and in better quantity. And that's not a knock on Tesla. That's just Ford.
It's just Ford. It's just Ford being Ford. That's what they're doing. That's what they do. That's what they're good at. They're producing.
Yeah, they literally started the game. So
yeah. I've kind of just did some reading on here. I've been trying to talk to people as much as I could online about how everybody feels about it and everything. And in the car community as a whole, it's big disappointment. And I think it's mostly because it is an F-150 and it is nothing. It's not a performance truck like we wanted the Lightning to be. So they've really tarnished the name. I think we kind of already mentioned that, but all that aside, it's exactly what you would expect in an EV truck. One thing that surprised me was that it only has a 10,000 pound tow rating. So I'm really wondering what, because like if you get the max tow package for the current F-150 with the EcoBoost or even the 5.0, it has better than 10,000 pound tow rating for.
Well, that's 10,000 pounds in the big battery pack. I believe it's like Lariat and better. And boy, oh boy, it starts off reasonable. That starts off at 39.9, and the most expensive is up to $90,000.
Yeah, I mean, that's really no surprise.
$90,000 for a half-ton pickup, man. My dad in 2007, granted, that was a long time ago, for $60,000 got a F350 King Ranch FX4, dually long bed, like everything you could do, tow your house down. And it was like $60,000.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I pretty much expected that. 90, that's a little stretch, but I did expect them to be expensive. But I mean, you can get into them for around 40, and I mean, that's fairly reasonable. You'll probably won't have
but that's going to be the small battery pack, which the range is 230 miles with the small one and 300 with the big one.
And both of those are disappointing to me. That's without towing.
It's exactly. I mean, it's Gen 1. Again, you just gotta like, it's not going to be everything a gas one is yet.
Sure.
But so the basic layout is 2 motors, full-time all-wheel drive. Depending on which battery pack you get, your horsepower is either going to be 426 or 563 with 775 foot-pounds of torque. which is pretty respectable, you know.
Very respectable, yeah.
Because those are better numbers than you're getting from anything else in a half-ton lineup, except for maybe horsepower. But no.
Well, I think max power right now, if you have the like Platinum, the top of the line one out of the regular F150, you get the Raptor engine, and it ends up being 450 horsepower.
Okay. What are the Silverados and Rams at right now? Do you know?
Oh man, I'm not sure. I think Ram has their 5.7 is maybe just a little over 400 or right around 400, and the I think that 6.2 might make a little bit more horsepower but less torque than the EcoBoost. I'm not 100% on those.
Yeah, 775. That's diesel numbers.
Yeah, that's big diesel numbers. That's creeping up on the Cummins and the new Power Stroke and Duramax. I mean, they're at 1,000 now, but it ain't too far off, and it's just a little half ton.
I think my 2015 Ram was like at 800.
Yeah, 2014, 2015, 800. One thing I really is pretty cool. So, I mean, there's a lot of things I think that as I really thought about this, because I'm in the industry, I work kind of in construction. I don't do the construction myself, but I work on the management side of it. And so I'm around these guys all the time at these construction sites. And the F-150 being, you know, number one selling truck for many, many years and probably will continue to be, but I don't see this appealing to the working man just yet, the construction general laborers type guys, because one, the range and the towing, I mean, it's really going to be, I suspect, we don't know yet, but I suspect it's going to be pretty dismal whenever you hook 8,000, 9,000 pounds behind it. And then, but there are a lot of really cool things, like the fact that you don't need to bring a generator. So if you're a welder,
that's what I was going to ask. Like, how do you see that as it's not necessarily what you're going to haul the backhoe to the work site with, but you know, you can hook up a bunch of saws and recharge batteries. And like, how is it as like a command and control station?
So the little things like the recharging your little saw batteries and drills and stuff, I mean, that's nice and all, but that's not a really big deal. And a lot of guys I don't think are really concerned about that. But the big thing is, I mean, that has its own benefits everywhere else. But I think one of the real big things is you see a lot of guys, especially in my neck of the woods, they have flatbed trucks and they have a big generator on the back and a huge welder or a combination of the two. And you know, it takes up a lot of area in the bed of the truck. So, I mean, at this point, you literally can just plug your welder into the bed of the truck and run it without the generator. And to me, that seems like a pretty sweet bonus right there. So despite some of the drawbacks, I mean, there's definitely some really cool things that they're appealing to. And like you said, this is Gen 1. So, I mean, I think some of the things that are big drawbacks right now are just going to get better in the future. So,
yeah, I'm not sure how if you'd be able to use a welder for any extended amount of time.
Sure. Yeah, it's probably fairly limited.
Well, so something that I saw on, what was it? Motor Trend or Car and Driver, I think they said Ford, right around the time they released this, filed for a patent for an in-bed range extending motor disguised as a toolbox.
A motor or a battery?
A motor, like a gas. I'm trying to find it right now. But yeah, so kind of to touch on what you're talking about, the aftermarket catching up with it, this is a way I could see that happening. Now, by the point you spend $90,000 on your brand new electric pickup, are you really going to want to, you know, buy a toolbox that takes up your already 5.5 foot bed to extend your range? Like, you're easily, I'm guessing, over 6 figures now just so you can do freaking $25,000 pickup does and drive 300 miles.
Yeah, and I mean, once you lose the utility of your bed, you like have an SUV now.
Yeah, and I mean, it's already 5.5 foot, so that's freaking rough.
Is that I didn't read that. Is that the only bed available?
Right now, from what I'm seeing, yeah.
Yeah, that's also pretty weak. I mean, I don't know anybody that shows up to a job site in a 5-foot bed. I mean, it's like 6 foot minimum, or what's the point of a truck if you have a 5-foot bed?
Yeah, exactly. But
anyways,
Ford's also submitted a patent for a removable range extender motor disguised as one of those aftermarket bed-mounted toolbox. The motor would kick in to recharge the battery in the event there's no charging station nearby. So far, we haven't seen any real-life version of this, but it could join the F-150 Lightning at launch as an add-on option.
So it's really just a little generator.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, I get it. I mean, if they can limit the size of it, that'd be
still say it's one of those regular like toolboxes that you've got the 2 hatch doors on the end, and then the center section's just a generator. Maybe then, but like I said, man, if you get the nice, like the fully loaded one at $90,000, I don't see this generator being any less than, $5,000 as an option. You're almost 6 figures just so you can do like what your gasoline counterpart can do, but worse.
Yeah. At that point, the only real advantages that you have is fuel economy, or just lack of a fuel bill.
Yeah, but even then, you got to fuel up your generator. Now, granted, I'm sure that's not going to be a significant fuel charge, but.
Right. So, anyways, I don't want to dig too much into this. It's just a basic thing. We have an electric truck from Ford, so.
It says it can charge from 15% to 80% in 44 minutes.
15 to what?
15% to 80% battery capacity in 44 minutes.
Yeah, it's not really good and it's not really bad. So I don't know what to even think of that. And I guess that's with a special charger. So.
Yeah, that's with the 220 volt, I'm sure. If you plan it as part of a road trip and you plug it in and go in and eat lunch and then come out, it's, I guess, not the worst thing ever. But if you have to do that, best case scenario, every 300 miles, like you got to stop for 40. That's, I don't know. And even as a work truck, that's even less plausible. If you're a guy out working, you don't have 44 minutes to sit and like just chill waiting for your truck to recharge.
Yeah, I know that's kind of what I was getting at, where I don't really see the common, working man really buying into this yet. I think they need to really extend the range and bring down charging times for it to be more appealing.
Yeah. And they keep advertising that it can serve as a backup generator if your house goes down. Mm-hmm. That I feel like they're shooting themselves in the foot so hard.
They're overselling.
Because, like if that's so subjective to where you're at, what the like temperature you're trying to keep your house at. If you're in Texas and it's below zero and you got the heat cranked because your house isn't like super set up for cold weather, you're going to run that truck down super fast. And then you're like, Ford, where's my 3 days of power?
I think it's more so like you can run all the lights in your house or something. I don't think you can legitimately run your entire HVAC system for any legitimate.
All the TVs running, everyone on the Xbox.
Yeah,
no.
It's like you can run a ceiling fan, you can turn some lights on.
Yeah, like run a space heater. So I don't know. Maybe I'm speaking out of turn. Maybe they've got it. I could see that being more plausible with the hybrid. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
But because you've got a gasoline engine that can recharge the batteries and like keep everything running like this, it's just a battery. Like and then you're really screwed because now your truck's dead and there's no power and your house has no power. So like you can't even leave to go get food now because your truck's dead.
Yeah. Oh yeah. See, I actually thought about that the other day. I was like, well, you're sitting here running your house with no power, like the pandemic we had down here in I don't want to call it pandemic. We just had that major freeze, and Texas is not suited for that type of freeze. And like half of DFW lost power for some of them days, some people up to a week. And like, yeah, if you're like, oh, no problem, I'll just run my truck. And then power comes back on, I'll charge my truck. Well, you just shot yourself in the foot because you still don't have power and now your truck's dead.
Yeah. Yeah. So just clarification right now, it says the Lightning will only be offered as a crew cab with a 5.5 foot bed. So,
yeah, so not even a work trim model anyways, because I'm looking at the pictures right now in Ford and it's heavily geared towards the working man. There's like every one of them almost is at a construction site. Well, a couple of them aren't, but all the main two pictures here at a construction site.
yeah, well, I mean, you can't blame them for aiming at their core audience. That's who the F-150 sold to forever.
Yeah.
I have seen some renderings of a single cab short bed version of it.
Yeah.
I don't hate it.
That was more of like the third gen Lightning they're trying to show off. I think I saw what you saw on
Yeah, the red one.
Mm-hmm.
It's like lowered. Yeah. Oh, something that's pretty cool. The front trunk.
Yeah,
I think that's
cool.
pretty cool.
That's pretty handy. Not necessarily cool, but handy and useful.
Yeah, like it bed storage, unless you have a tonneau cover, is only useful to a certain amount. Like having that front trunk is essentially like everything that would take up your back seat. Now you just store up there.
Yeah, or whatever you would initially have in a toolbox in the bed of your truck can now go up there as well.
That too.
Yeah, that's a good utility. That's definitely another perk of that truck for sure. Like I said, it's got some good things, but I don't see myself driving one anytime soon, or any of the people I work with as well driving anything like that in the near future.
It's definitely a foreman's truck for now.
Maybe.
Yeah. It's like a mobile command platform. So it does have an optional 15-inch interior display, which is massive.
It's pretty big, yeah.
Also, it will come with Ford's semi-autonomous driving, which...
I'm still not on board with that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's their first gen of it, so I'm not really sure. I just had it pulled up. Was it Ford Blue Drive or something?
Blue Cruise.
Blue Cruise. Yeah. So it'll have that, and then I know you don't care, but it'll have a Bang & Olufsen system, which the premium one will have up to 18 speakers.
Golly.
That is
care about that. I read it. I didn't realize it had that many, but I did read about the whatever that Bang and whatever they are. But I assume that's a good radio or speaker.
Yeah, they make really high end home theater stuff.
Yeah, I'm still into like the Bose stuff from like the early 2000s.
No, Bose makes good stuff.
I got
the warranty, before I forget, is exceptional. Right. So it offers a limited warranty of 3 years, 36,000, powertrain, 5 years, 60,000, and battery components, 8 years or 100,000 miles. That's huge. That would put me way more at ease about buying one.
Yeah, for sure. My biggest concern would be the battery, and having a 100,000 mile warranty on the batteries. That's something.
Yeah, I would be interested to find out how much a battery replacement is on these.
So I wish I remember the exact figures, but they're definitely not cheap. And so I actually went with my grandmother years ago. She wanted to buy a Prius. And so I went with her, and we cut a deal on a Prius, brand new one. And, they wanted to sell us the replacement warranty for the battery. I guess I don't remember how the exact details on how it works, but they broke it down like, yeah, if you have to replace this battery, you know, it's so many thousands of dollars just for the battery, and that doesn't include labor. So, yeah, I would have just those little batteries in the Prius are really expensive. These full EV ones have got to be really, really expensive.
Yeah, I remember when a few years ago, I was looking into just researching hybrids for a school thing. It was like 3 to 5, I think, for your standard like Camry, Prius, like your just small sedan hybrid battery.
Yeah.
So like you said, something this big and full EV, I can't imagine it's anything close to reasonable.
Yeah. That definitely is a good perk, having a decent warranty on it.
Yeah.
I did want to talk about, if you don't mind moving on from that, to the aftermarket part of all this.
Yeah. So just real quick, overall, like it's a good first step. It's not perfect. It's not the same as, you know, and then they're not going to come out with Gen 1 electric truck that's as good as 100 years of F150.
Yeah.
So let somebody else go buy the $100,000 first gen, and then, you know, enjoy the fruits of their investment.
I agree.
Moving on. Sorry.
Moving on. So anyways, I started thinking about a lot of this since like there's so much talk about EV. You know, we're sitting here talking about it right now, and you know, and I'm always thinking about the car culture and everything. I actually went through my first car meet, like an actual I don't know, just parking lot meetup. Last Friday, and I haven't done this in several years. And it was a lot of fun. It's you know, just so different from what I've been used to lately. Just more so shows, like more classy and high end stuff. And, you know, half the stuff there's clapped out ricers, and the rest of them are like actually decent, nice cars. So it's pretty good mix of all types of guys that are car enthusiasts. But you know, most of them are older vehicles, and almost everything out there is modified in some way. And
right.
So I was thinking, he's like, you know, what's the aftermarket actually going to do to, you know, support this? Because eventually, you know, it might take 10 years, it might take 20 years, I don't know, but eventually there's going to be more EVs on the road than there are, or at least newer stuff than there are new gasoline or diesel type stuff. Right now, the market share for EV for 2020 is 1.5%. 1.5% of car sales went towards EV.
That's not bad. It's more than I thought it would be.
It's going to drastically ramp up as years go on. I would say it's probably going to be close to double by sometime next year. And
because they're not making the other models anymore. It's
right. Yeah, it's gonna easily
damn travesty.
More than double. Yeah. So I think so I'm wondering like what's gonna happen, and then on top of that, like the swaps. You know, the big thing right now is an LS swap. So at some point in time, actually, I got so curious when I looked into it, and there actually are already options. You literally can pull out your regular gasoline engine and drop in a motor that kind of mounts in the way a transmission and engine go into like a rear wheel drive type vehicle, and just slides right in there. And I'm sure it's
blasphemy.
Yeah. Shame.
Yes.
I agree. But if you are the type of person, if you're like me, I mean, it's going to be a long time before I go buy anything like this. I do like my gas powered vehicles. If my wife wanted an EV here in 5 or 6 years, I probably will buy her one. But for myself and my own personal daily driver, it's going to be a while to do really still enjoy my engines, because I've just invested so much of my life into learning them and modifying and just having fun with them. And I know them really well, and I'm confident around them. So I'm going to continue to do that for a while. But eventually, if you're wanting to be like into racing of some sort and you want to have a fast vehicle, you're gonna have to give in probably to this EV, because like we're saying right now, this is Gen 1 type stuff that's out, and it's already embarrassing a lot of this gasoline and diesel powered stuff.
Well, racing is where everything starts as far as consumer vehicle technology for the most part, and there's already all electric Formula One type racing. So
Yeah.
it's coming. They skipped hybrid technology as far as I know, which is a good predictor that the rest of the industry is going to skip it. And so far, most people have, like Ford. They have a hybrid, but most other automakers, nobody's putting out hybrid vehicles. They just skip straight to all electric.
Yeah, I think almost most brands do have some form of hybrid, and but yeah, everybody's pretty much either has an electric one already or will have one very soon. But yeah, it seems like they just skipped straight over that and went straight over hybrid, which I was, like you mentioned before, and it kind of got me on board with it. And I'm really hoping somebody like puts their foot down and says, we're going to cater to the enthusiast market that's into this stuff right now. Because like I said, I've been trying to like talk to people online and get their take on things. And even at this car meet, I talked to a couple of guys. They're part of a Holden SS crew, and they were just picking their brain on what they thought about all this. And nobody's on board with it. Nobody's looking forward to it. People don't even really care how superior they are as in like the racing format. I think they just move too fast straight to that next thing. And the general public, I think, is going to eat this up really well. I mean, they already are with the Teslas and all that, but right. From our side of the realm, I think we still got a long ways to go before a lot of us are going to dive right into this. So, and that's what just keeps me going back to the whole aftermarket support type thing is right now. I mean, aside from just the basics like body stuff, wheel and tire packages and whatnot, I don't think there's anything out there for an engine. You can't put an exhaust on your EV. I mean, what do you do to them?
You can upgrade motor controllers and change like discharge rates on batteries. Like it's all a balancing act. So just like tuners tune a car from the factory so that their timing's not too aggressive and you're not right on the ragged edge of performance. Like you can do all that afterwards if you want to your own peril. So you can do kind of the same thing with but
I understand like just like the electronic like tuning type part of it. It's going to be same concept, but
I mean more efficient, smaller motors, or like motors of the same form factor that have more power. There's more stuff to do. It's not as sexy, I guess, as as romanticized as leaning over with elbow deep in grease and throwing the motor back in it. But I don't know, man. I say that like I agree with it. I just am hard programmed to argue with people. I'm not looking forward to it. Like I understand it but that doesn't mean I'm excited about it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I guess, like I keep saying, just time will tell. We'll have to see what happens, but I like to see what's going to happen. Like you're talking about the batteries and the programming and all that type of stuff. But at some point, I went online today and I looked up a video of a Tesla burnout, and it was painful to listen to. It was
because it's just the worst part of a burnout is rubber on rubber.
It was just like a little parking lot burnout. And I mean, it smoked the tires real well. It didn't.
I'm sure.
It's just like an instant white smoke, but it was just a terrible sound.
Well, speaking of the moving forward of these EVs, 2020, the chip shortage is still wreaking havoc on our fair automotive industry, with Nissan, Suzuki, and Mitsubishi to halt like certain parts of their production in this next month. And with, I guess the chip shortage is going to affect the industry no matter what. But as you get more and more complex vehicles, and I don't think it gets any more complex than the all electric ones, the industry, the chip industry is going to have to really step up their production, because it's not just cars. I mean, it's called the Internet of Things. Everything in your house, your TV, your fridge, your thermostat, your microwave, everything is digital. Everything is online. So it's, I think it's a combination. And I mean, it's not like I know this, I've been reading, but it's a combination of a drastic uptick in demand and a huge halt in supply in 2020. So we'll see if this shortage affects the way they bring out new models. Like if we see some stuff get simplified, you know what I mean? Like things that have been getting more and more digitally controlled, like if they return to mechanical power steering instead of this drive-by-wire stuff, or I don't know where it would make a difference, you know what I mean? But it'll be interesting to see if the industry reacts to that, or if they just kind of slow down through the painful parts and push forward.
Yeah. So, I mean, I have a solution for all of this. If the EPA would back off, we can just
12 valve Cummins, one wire. That's it.
We can 12
all
valves,
the boost. Yes.
12 valve and 4 BT swap everything if you're into fuel economy, and problem solved, or if you like gasoline stuff, hey, we'll drop a small block Chevy in there, throw a carburetor on top. All you need is a wire for a distributor and your starter, and you're good to go.
Done and done. Look at us solving problems.
Yeah. This is an easy day. EPA screwing everything up, man. They're the problem.
Yeah. If you have any problems, let us know. We'll solve it for you. cartoonchannel@gmail.com. Let me know.
Solving the world's problems, one podcast at a time.
Yeah, if you want our ridiculous opinion on your car or anything, you should send us an email or hit us up on Instagram.
Yeah. So,
you want to do some automotive history? It was a pretty interesting week.
Yeah, hit me on it.
So on May 23rd, which was yesterday, 1934, Bonnie and Clyde were shot to death in a Ford V8.
Oh, I know this one.
Yep. That car is actually sitting like 35, 40 minutes south of me in Prim at a casino.
I'd love to see that. That's so cool.
Yeah, you should come out here before I move.
I lost my train of thought. Go
ahead. So they're famous for their murders and bank robberies, but another one of their many crimes were related to automobile theft, because Clyde fancied the new Ford V8s as they were extremely quick compared to most other cars on the road.
Yeah. That's what I was getting at. What was it? Clyde actually wrote a letter to Henry Ford thanking him for making a fine or fast automobile so we can get away
from it. Yeah. That's so awesome.
I'd really like to know how he took that letter. Like, was he like honored, or is he offended? Like, you're screwing with the law, or I would like to know how he took it.
Yeah. Well, now it wouldn't be a big fast V8. It would be a small 6-cylinder, and Clyde would have got caught earlier.
I don't know, man. Them EcoBoosts get it, man.
I know. I'm just being bitter.
Of course, that's what the cops are running anyways. They got those EcoBoosts around here.
Man, every time I see some silly comparison about how good the freaking EcoBoost patrol cars are, I think I want to get one.
Yeah. The more I learn about the 3.5 EcoBoost, the more I just really like it, and just it does make sense. I think they did a good job on that engine. So
here's what we're gonna do: we're gonna find one and then blow it up and then LS swap it, and then we'll have a 5.3 LS all-wheel drive Taurus.
Or we can have the first EV Taurus.
Mm.
We're not ready. We're not ready for that.
That's also the noise the Taurus makes while you're charging it. Fun fact. May 20th, the long dick of the law struck for the first time as the first U.S. speeding ticket was issued. And if you've ever driven with a taxi cab driver, it makes sense that they would get the first ticket.
Yeah, for sure.
So it was in an all-electric taxi cab, which it was basically a wagon carriage that they stuck electric motors under. So it's super sketchy. It's very tall, super narrow track with big wagon wheels. And guess how fast? Well, first off, let me read you. At the time, New York had a speed limit for horses and cars of 8 miles an hour when traveling in a straight line and 4 miles an hour when going around a corner. First off, how are they tracking that?
That's what I'm wondering.
Who has a radar gun in 1899?
It's like maybe they have like little marks on the road, and if you cross it within a certain amount of time.
I mean, it would literally have to be something like that, but how petty are you if you're sitting there like looking at marks on the road like, oh, keep going, I'm going to get you 17, 18, 19.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's funny though.
Can you see the screen? Can you already see the answer of how fast he was going?
Let's see. Oh my gosh. Yeah. 12
miles an hour. It was so fast. The bicycle cop. Oh man, that's demoralizing when you get pulled over by a bicycle cop. He said he was going so fast, he arrested and imprisoned him. Now, as someone who's got a 60 over ticket, I was pretty sure I was going to get arrested, and I did later get imprisoned. But man, for going 4 miles an hour over, this dude got put in jail.
So, but on the flip side, I'm actually kind of impressed that an electric vehicle is moving at 12 miles per hour in 1896.
I mean, that's fair. I didn't even think about that. But he still got pulled over by a cop, so it's not that fast on a bicycle.
And he was only charged 1 shilling, which whatever that means.
No. That's a different one. You jumped ahead.
Oh, I jumped.
Yeah. So that one was the first ticket in the world. And that was, a guy in Kent, England, who was caught going 8 in a 2.
I can't even go
God.
2 if I wanted to. It's if I let off the gas, I go 5.
I would, yeah.
Or 4 at least.
I don't even know. Yeah, the torque converter won't even let me do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, fun facts. One more thing. In May 19th, which was a few days ago, Buick was founded, 1903.
Big fan of those.
Oh, yeah. In 1911, Buick introduced the first closed body car 4 years ahead of Ford.
Nice.
Which I did not know, but is a fun fact.
I only beat Ford at something, and now look at Buick.
Yep. They were the first said Buick included winning the first automobile race held at Indianapolis Motor Speedway in 1911. Also being the first brand to introduce standard turn signals in 1939.
They were innovative at one time. Now they're kind of nothing.
Yeah, well, they're trying to reinvigorate themselves with those corny ass ads. Oh, is that a Buick? I'm in a Buick. Oh,
yeah. It's more like I'm in a
Nobody
Buick.
cares. Nobody cares.
Yeah, at this point, I'm more like exhilarated by like Hyundai and Kia than a Buick. It's sad.
Yeah, I mean, when Buick starts offering Grand National stuff again, then
that needs to happen. Buick, listen to ChrisTalksCars. Put an awesome EV, like super powerful, in the Grand National.
What anniversary is this? Like 50 years? Grand National 50th anniversary, big turbo V6.
Yeah.
Make it happen.
GNX. Yeah. Give us a GNX Gen 2.
Let's do it.
2-door.
Then people will give a shit when you're in a Buick out front. When you're doing a big smoky burnout because you got all them Turks right off the rip because of that turbo.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, bitch, I'm in the Buick.
Yes. Listen to us, Buick. Do this. Your brand will be saved.
Hell yeah. Can we talk about what's happening with the Corvette market right now? What the hell, man? Why? So 2019, when I'm looking at buying my Shelby, it's 60 grand all day for a Z06 C7.
Yeah.
With 30-ish thousand miles all day. Wait, like if you want to get one with a bunch of miles, you can get them down like 50. Now, if you have a C5 Z06 or a C6, I've seen C6s all day. People want 40 grand. C7 Stingrays, $55,000-$60,000. Out of your fucking mind. Now, granted, a lot of these have been modified, but that doesn't matter. You don't get your money back out of your mods just because you spent $25,000 on a fucking Pro Charger kit that your shop spent 45 minutes installing. Like, that doesn't mean you get to tack that onto the price. And I don't know if everyone's just trying to do that, but it is absolutely bananas. Because I was looking at C5s because I wanted to get one when I moved to Texas. And they're insane, man. Like, I'm not going to pay $15,000 for a 150,000 mile base model C5. Out of your fucking mind.
Hold on. So I actually noticed today, I drove by a dealership that I bought a truck from years ago. And then right next to it, there's a CarMax or whatever it's called. Yeah, CarMax. And then there's like a Carvana close by. It's like right here on I-35. There's just like a whole bunch of cars or car lots right along on both sides. So we're just looking at them and they're almost empty. Like even the new stuff and the used stuff, it's like
it doesn't make sense to me. Like we're coming out of a year of nobody working. Prices should be so low. It should be the buyer's haven. What are you motherfuckers doing the last year?
I guarantee
collecting all that unemployment. You're flush with cash. Now you can go pay $40,000 for a fucking C5 Z06. Jesus Christ.
Calm down, man.
Sorry.
But, the whole market is crazy right now. I bought 2 cars just this year in 2021. And I know for a fact that I could make money on both of them, but I wouldn't be able to buy anything. If I still had my pickup with that low of miles, I could sell it for $50,000 right now, man. Easily. Yeah. Something weird has happened. I don't fully understand it either, but there's definitely some people are buying things up right now, or cars. And there's definitely a shortage, especially in the used realm, but it looks like the new stuff is actually limited too. So prices, the demand is really high for whatever reason, and prices really gone up.
I know you're not really on Facebook, but some guy in the 7.3 Ford, the new gasser engine forum, said that they offered him trade-in like $7 grand more than he paid sticker for trade-in. So these 7.3s are in such short supply. The dude traded it in and made money.
Jeez. That's crazy.
So I know the shortage because of the chip and stuff, but that's like, I can't see it rippling down that far. Like, I don't know. It's weird.
Well, see, but what doesn't make sense to me is maybe there's some more on the private sector, but like on the big dealerships where there's even looks like there's a bit of a shortage there as well. When you buy a car, 9 out of 10 people sell the car or trade the car also before or when they buy a new car. So there's normally just that trade-off there somewhere. So where are these cars going? I don't get it.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
I'm mostly bummed out because I really wanted to buy a C5 and now it's going to be like a big deal because I'm going to need, 10, 15 grand to get a decent C5. But I say that I want to buy a roller.
Yeah, and I think those are going to be pretty easy to buy because they're not in high demand. Also, I think the shortage it's got to be a short-term thing. But.
Shortage of what though? Like, it's not. I don't. At least in the Corvette market, I just don't understand it. Like, did Chevy somewhere put out that they're not making any more Corvettes? Like, did we miss an announcement?
I don't think
because
so.
That's what it's like. It's like Chevy's like, after 2022, we're not making any more LS engines at all ever. And if that was the case, okay, everyone that's got a Corvette now might as well gold plate it because there are no more. But that didn't happen. So
yeah, I think
confused.
I think that is just for whatever reason, the Corvette market has taken a bit of a shift and then it's been amplified with whatever else is going on in the car market with the shortage. Yeah. Maybe it's the chip thing that's amplifying it as well, but definitely some weird stuff going on. I'm hoping it doesn't last too long.
I was pretty blown away by how cheap they were, like the bang for the buck. Like the fact that you could get a C5 Z06 with 30,000 miles on it for 10, 15 grand a year or two ago. Like, that's insane. That's so much car for that much money. So maybe the market's overcorrecting and then it'll even out.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
We shall see.
We shall. You got anything else?
I think that's about all I got today.
All right, everybody. Don't forget to like, subscribe, rate, and review. Brandon and I's Instagrams and the show Instagram will be in the link below. We'll see you next week. Bye.
See ya.
And we're out.